Now, this is being hosted by Internet Phenomenon, and those of you who are part of the Internet Phenomenon community will know that we really have a look at internet business models that are a fit for the investment-minded. Now, what I mean by this is that there are certain criteria that we look for in a business model before we explore it ourselves. And before I start to talk to you guys about it, the criteria are these: that there is a reasonably low startup cost to get involved, that it can be run with a minimal time investment so that you can still have a life, that it can earn you a great income or has great income potential and potentially replace your income, and finally that at least there are some aspects of it that can be automated so that it makes money for you even when you're not out there manning the pumps. So I'm really excited about tonight's webinar because basically it has a check in every single box. At least it does using Steven's business model. Now, there are quite a few people who are using webinars to earn money online, but there's no one else who's using it and teaching this particular model. So it's very important that you watch the whole thing. Make sure you take notes. Steven's jam-packed this presentation with critical information, and if you miss any stage, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So please, 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 I can't express to you enough how important it is that you take this time for yourself. I know it's coming up to Christmas, but take this time for yourself and squeeze all the information out of this that you can. I won't steal his thunder by sharing nuggets of his cool story of online success, but I will say this, that Steven has achieved success and built up his business based on the idea of not being an expert, which is quite unusual. And the great thing about this that it means that anyone, and when I say anyone, I mean you, can take his system and duplicate that kind of success. By the end of the webinar, Steven will have shown you his system, demonstrated how easy it can be, and shown you exactly what steps you need to take to go ahead and launch your own webinar business. So please join me in welcoming Steven Essa. Over to you, Steven.
G'day, Mike. G'day, everyone. Hope you're well. Thanks for having me on. Just sitting in this lovely office in Brighton Beach in the Novotel. Is that showing you? Yeah, hello.
We've got you.
Awesome. Well, great to be here, guys. Great to be here. My apologies. We just flew from the Gold Coast, where I now reside as of a few months ago, and I've come to the beautiful city of Sydney. And we're at the Novotel here. I'm running a one-day webinar workshop tomorrow, and unfortunately they have a very slow internet speed. Despite the 24-hour-a-day rate that I just paid, it's very, very slow. So my apologies there. Normally I don't present a webinar with my face on the screen because it does affect the conversion rate. But for this for this webinar, what I'll do is I'll do my best. How's the lighting? Is the lighting okay? So this is a strategy that that has allowed me to generate up to $44,868 a month in just 4 hours a week. As Mike said at the beginning, for the last 5 years now, I've been working throughout the internet business area, working with hundreds of clients, teaching them how to do webinars and use them in their businesses, and also people with knowledge and expertise. I've been showing them how they can turn their information and their knowledge into a product, into something physical that they can sell online and make money from. And it's been very successful. It's been a lot of fun. And if you haven't actually started using webinars in your business, or even just to share your knowledge and expertise, it's definitely something that you should consider. And that's probably why you're on this webinar, which is really smart. In the last 18 months, I actually discovered an even better strategy than what I was doing when I started, and I'll share that with you today. And I'll actually show you how I generate, $10,000 to $50,000 a month in not just one niche market, not two, not three, but 5 businesses right now I have generating $10,000 to $50,000 a month, and my goal is to have 10 by the end of next year. And the reason I'm teaching this information is because I personally could not even if I was the greediest man alive, I could not have all of the businesses that in the whole wide world, because there are so many experts out there that have fantastic information, fantastic knowledge that could be and should be sharing it via webinars, but for whatever reason, through to technical problems that they can't, they can't get over the technical aspect of a computer, or they're afraid of technology, or whatever reason, they're too busy in their business. For whatever reason, they haven't got webinars used in their business. And maybe that's you. If you're an expert right now and you're like working full-time in your business, you haven't had time to implement this stuff. You haven't had the people, the resources, the money, and to do it. Well, I'm going to encourage everybody listening on the call that you can do this for yourself as an expert, number one, and that's what, when I started, that's what I did. I became the webinar expert, okay? Ironically enough, I'm talking about webinars. I became the webinar expert. In the last 5 years, I focused on what they told me to do, and the experts said, niche yourself down and, build up your brand and become number one at something and whatever, and that's what I did. But as I was like going through the journey, I actually found myself working more, like 12 to 16 hours a day, by being the so-called expert in the business, because everything revolved around me, or everything revolves around you as the expert. You've got to do all of the delivery of the product. You've got to deal with the customers and do the support. You've got to do the selling. You've got to get out there and nurture relationships. Then on top of that, on top of the normal business stuff, the admin, the refunds, the billing, and the chasing up payments and all of that stuff. On top of that, along comes internet marketing, and now people are saying to experts, you've got to have a website, you've got to have opt-ins, you've got to build your list, you've got to do social media, you've got to be doing webinars, you've got to automate them, you've got to build a membership site, and this whole new element of marketing and doing business online on top of the expert who's trying to just run their business and deal with day to day is just too much, and it's too overwhelming, and you just can't do it in an 8-hour day. I was working when I started 12 to 16 hours a day, and I wasn't complaining because it was my own business. I made $150,000 in the first year, $500,000 in the second, $1 million, and now it's like I've done over $5 million from a standing start in 5 years. And my revelation came 18 months ago when I realized that I have actually created a platform, okay, that I've built for myself, and automated systems that I've done for myself. Why don't I do that for other experts? And for that, I can take 50%, do a 50-50 deal on a permanent, ongoing basis with strategic partners who I actually create new companies with. Okay, so I currently have 5 companies, 4 in Australia, proprietary limited companies, and 1 LLC, which we just built in America. And that's how I run the business now. I've created a platform, and this allows me to only work 4 hours a week on each project. Okay, and you can work on as many as you want. Okay, for me, I've chosen to, at the moment I have 5. I could easily just retire now and not have to be the expert in my business anymore, because I have other businesses making me money where I do menial work for it. Okay, and I'll show you in this webinar what that sort of looks like. But basically, guys, what I've done is I've created a system whereby you can outsource this, a lot of the work, and do the menial tasks, which is about 4 hours, if that. Okay, and what's great is it's on virtual autopilot. Okay. So just by way of introducing what I've done, because I've done quite a lot of strategies on the internet. When I first started out, I tried to build a niche market. I tried to follow what the experts say and do what get the niche market and build a website and all of that stuff. And I found that I couldn't even build a website that would make me money. In fact, I built many different websites, and none of them made me money. It's like, I think the first website I built was like a real estate type website, and then I tried to help my boss with his business and that website, and that didn't work. And then I just tried different websites, and I just couldn't get them to work. And then in December 2008, one of my mentors told me to actually run a webinar. Why don't you run a webinar? And I said, what's a webinar? And he said, just go to gotowebinar.com, and that system will show you what to do. And I literally just logged in there and I set up a webinar, and I had 15 people attend my webinar, and I was talking about how to make money for churches and charities, because I'd just generated $30,000 for my local church in the month of November. So I created a little product around that, and I sold 2 products at $297 on that particular webinar with just 15 people there, which is a pretty good conversion rate and a pretty good price point too. So that's where I really, realized that webinars was so powerful, because you don't need a huge database to make a lot of money with a webinar. You don't have to work as hard to get lots of traffic, because it converts 1 in 10. So along the journey, I've always taken the approach of, instead of just listening and learning, instead what I try to do is I try to apply whatever it is that I'm trying to learn in real life, so that I actually get real hands-on experience and real world results. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I actually built a lot of this stuff for my boss's business when I was working in real estate. I created some of the internet marketing stuff for him. I implemented some strategies that worked, and a lot of the strategies didn't work, and then I left and I started doing webinars, and that took off for me. For those of you that don't know me at all, I basically have appeared on stages live in front of audiences in Sydney, Melbourne, Queensland, even around the world, and I actually make money live on stage for people. And I've taken a lot of challenges. So at the moment, I've done 20 challenges approximately, where ranging from creating a brand new internet business from scratch, and then I raise money over the weekend, we make sales, and then I give the money away to someone in the audience. And more recently, I just did a world tour with the author of The Laptop Millionaire, which is a New York Times best-selling book. I did a world tour with him, and what I was doing on the first day of the seminar, it's a 3-day seminar, I was going around in the audience, and we'll do that here. I had plans to actually create a presentation for somebody here and show you how easy it is. Unfortunately, my slides aren't showing up, so we'll improvise. But basically, what happened was I would pick someone out of the audience, or a handful of people who were experts in any area. Now, they didn't have to be actually practicing experts, meaning they didn't have to be making money. They just had to have some knowledge in a specific area. And we bring people on stage, and there's like, you got 11 experts, 12 experts out of the audience. Sometimes there was more people on stage than there was in the audience, because everyone's an expert, right, at something. And basically they would line up and they would tell us what they know. And the audience would then vote on which expert they would like me to create a webinar business for from scratch. And I got to tell you, it gets a bit nerve-wracking, because you don't know how it's going to go. And we had audiences of up to 250 people in some cases, right? So it was very exciting and very on the edge of your seat. And what I do is I go and work with them for about 4 to 6 hours on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday we would launch their webinar business live on stage in front of the audiences, and there was fantastic results. Okay, basically the first time I ever did it was in Melbourne in November last year. We generated $21,425 for a gentleman by the name of Shane Price. He's a fella from New Zealand who ran a consulting business. He was absolutely over the moon. We ran it a week later in Sydney and generated $6,000. Just looking at the slides here. Did it in Brisbane and made no money. Can you believe it? I actually did this challenge and we made no money on a webinar in front of an audience. Can you believe? You know how embarrassing that was? But what was fantastic, guys, was I clearly demonstrated to everybody what to do if you don't make money from a webinar, okay? Because there's a way to actually address that problem. And what we did was we surveyed the audience, and we found out that nobody was interested in that particular product, or a better way of putting it, they weren't ready for that particular product which was offered on the webinar, and that was the reason. So they weren't the right target audience, which we learnt, we fixed, and I'm happy to say that that gentleman that we got on stage is now a business partner of mine. We've generated over $42,000 in sales so far, and he's actually going to be speaking at my conference on Saturday. He's a YouTube expert. So that business turned around. We found out what people did want, and we just provided that for them. We ran it in Toronto. So this hasn't just been in Australia. This is worldwide. We did a world tour. We did in Toronto. We generated $8,549 with a 19-year-old kid who had some knowledge. We did it in Los Angeles, $4,968. We did it in London 2 times. One time we made $14,000. The next time we made $22,000 for someone. And then we did it in Dubai as well. Dubai, a lady, she was a back pain specialist. Okay, can you imagine like a back pain specialist doing a webinar for internet marketers? Like, we have the worst posture, sitting down on our computers, crouched over, and it's like, we don't get up. We're just sitting there all the time. So during the actual webinar, I sit next to the expert on stage, and I'm looking out to the audience every time she's talking about the back and how the back aligns, and what a ruptured this is, and herniated means, and all this, and the whole audience the whole time just kept sitting there, and they kept straightening up and sitting there and trying to take notes and whatever. And that lady made 7,000 dirhams, which is around about 2,000 Australian dollars, in teaching people how to avoid back pain and the knowledge about back pain. Recently in Brisbane, just 2 weeks ago in Brisbane, we did this, and one lady who had some publicity and some journalist experience, we got her on stage. She made $4,473 in 60 minutes. I wish you could see the photo of her, because her hair is like standing on end. So that was really, really cool. And I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm just telling you this because webinars work, okay? And I have a basic format, a basic template, which when you fill in the blanks and you create some value and you deliver some great value for somebody who's interested in the topic, and you make a reasonable offer or an irresistible offer, that you will make a 1 in 10 conversion. That for every 10 people that come to your webinar, you will convert 1 person into a sale. And the most exciting thing by far with a webinar is that you can actually sell higher price point products and services. What do I mean by that? A lot of the times when I launched products live on stage in the past, with the other challenge that I did, building a traditional internet business, we were selling a $37 or a $47 piece of software or a book or some sort of information product, and that's fantastic. I'm not knocking it. If you're selling a $47 or a $97 product on a website right now, good on you. That's great, right? So it's good to get buyers in your funnel. But what I'm talking about with webinars, you can sell 1 in 10, a $297 product, a $497 product, a $1,000 product, $2,000 product. I've even sold $5,000 products, $10,000 products, even $15,000 products on webinars, and you just can't do that on a website. Okay, you just can't do that on a website. Okay, unless you've got huge rapport with somebody already who comes to your website. They already know you, and the reason is obvious, right? A website is static, okay? There might be a video, but it's still going to be very difficult for people to trust, for them to have the belief on a actual website, okay? In fact, just type into the questions box. I can't see it, but maybe Mike can jump in. Just type into the questions box. If you've ever gone to a website, you wanted to buy something, but then you just had a reserved thought. You just left and you didn't buy it because of trust. You just had a trust thing that you went, okay, I'm just not feeling really, like this is someone I know or whatever. Is anyone typing in yes there?
No, we've got a little bit of a buffering lag, so give it a couple of minutes, Stephen. I know okay. I've certainly been in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We all have. And it comes down to trust. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. Okay, and a webinar is a fantastic way for people to get to know who you are. Okay, and that's why it's such a good conversion. It's also a great way to structure your talk so it can be laid out in a way that people can understand what it is you do, step by step, and then you can make an offer. It's also using and engaging more of their senses as well. So if they're basically typing in, if they're interacting, if they're viewing, if they're hearing, using more senses is proven now that people learn with more using more different senses. Now, normally I tell you about my story and I show you slides from my heavy metal days when I was a heavy metal guitar player, but I'll bypass that and I'll just tell you now that thanks to these businesses that I now have, I'm able to basically travel around the world and live and work where I want to. Okay, and I got married recently about a year and a half ago. And my wife is actually from Greece, and we now go to Greece every year when it's winter here in Australia. I go to like Santorini, and her brother lives in Cyprus in a resort, and we go there and we just live there for 3 months. This year we were overseas for 6 months because we did a whole tour. And my business can continue to run with a laptop and an internet connection. I can literally log in and continue to run my business. I can still work with clients if I need to. I can still, man my staff, which all of my staff are remote. I have a team of like 7 people now, and they're all remote. They all work from home, and it's a multi-million-dollar business that we run. Okay, and that's the advantage of this model. Recently, I took my wife to the Hayman Islands in October for her birthday, and on the way back I was sitting on the chartered yacht that they have, or whatever you call them, that fancy boat, and there was a gentleman there. He was a multi-millionaire. He owned a steel company, okay, and we got talking to his wife and stuff like that. They thought that my wife looked like Tina Arena from Young Talent Time, and my wife's like, "Who's Tina Arena?" And I was like, "Oh, she's this singer from when we were young. Every boy loved her." Anyway, so I got talking to this guy, and they said that they were going on a holiday to Greece. And I said, "Oh, great. How long are you going for?" They said, "We're going for 8 days." And I said, "Oh, you got to go longer than 8 days." They said, "How long did you go for?" I said, "We went for 3 months." And he's like, 3 months? What business are you in? And I said, "Oh, we run an internet business. We got information marketing, and we do everything online." And you could see this guy. He's a multi-millionaire. Owns a steel company. He's like probably got hundreds of staff. Makes a ton of money. And the look on his face when he realized that the freedom that we had. Okay, now I probably don't make a tenth of what he makes, but I make enough money to basically be able to live and go where I want to and have a great lifestyle for myself. Okay, and we invest in properties and stuff like that. We love property, and that's great for us, right? And we'll just keep building on what we're doing and have more businesses that do this because we're having fun doing it. But the reality for him that he was chained to his business, really, I saw it on his face, the shock on his face when I said we went for 3 months. And it really made me appreciate, hey, this is amazing. We have to remember how blessed we are. It's like that we have a system like this that works for us, that we can operate from anywhere in the world. And the reason I'm telling you that is because you can have exactly the same thing. Where would you work? Where would you live if you could live anywhere? Okay, would you leave Australia for winter like I have? Get the hell out of here for winter. No? It's like so. Well, what would you do? That's the thing. Okay. So just moving on. Basically, would you like to know how to get higher conversion rates? So when people come to your website and sign up for something, I can show you how to get a higher conversion rate by putting them onto a webinar. Would that be good? I'll show you how to dominate your niche market. Would you like to know how to become famous in your market, sell higher price point products and services? Would you like to know how to get paid up front for any knowledge that you've got right now? You can, without a website, without any internet business at all, I'll show you how you can get paid up front for the knowledge that you've got right now, which is quite amazing to a lot of people. Build a big targeted list and make money with webinars. And in this presentation, I'll show you how I generated $54,967 in 90 minutes, and using another strategy, $44,868 a month. And the great thing is, I'll show you how to do it without a website if that appeals to you as well. Some of my clients that I've got on the screen here, some of my clients have come from all kinds of businesses. People say, Steve, do webinars only work in this specific industry? And I'm telling people for the last 5 years, no, webinars are revolutionary for all aspects of business, delivering value, selling, delivering programs, meetings, all sorts of things. But I particularly specialize in helping people sell on a webinar, because anyone can actually set up and run a webinar. It's not that hard. You just get on, press a few buttons, and you start talking. And anyone can do that, but we specialize in selling. And one of my clients is an airline pilot, and he flies part-time for EasyJet. He also has a business teaching other pilots how to actually fly the A320, okay, for EasyJet. Like, he trains them. And it costs £50,000 for a student pilot to do his training. And before he worked with me, how he would get new prospects was he would pick up the phone and he would call and try and convince students that they need to join his pilot training program so he can give them the best chance of getting a job. And after I worked with him, he put together a webinar. And he basically told the pilot, if you're interested in this training, put down a fully refundable £500, because he's from the UK, £500, and I'll phone you this week. If the program's good for you and you're going to do it, then you pay the balance of £45,500 or whatever the balance was. And he instantly made £450,000 in sales. Pilots ringing up, okay, putting money down, ringing up, begging him, what's your bank account details? We want in, we want in. Because it went from him calling the customers, cold calling, to begging them to join, to they're coming to his webinar now, they're watching his sales pitch. He's not even there. It's an automated webinar that we've set up. And at the end, what's happening is they're actually putting their money down and waiting for the phone call from him. It put him in a much more powerful position, and the price point is just unbelievable. At that price point, £50,000, you would think that's like, sounds too good to be true, but that's exactly what he's done. Another client of mine is a fitness instructor. She started teaching other fitness instructors how to fully book their business, how to get fully booked. And on her first webinar that I helped her set up, she made £17,000 in sales. She was from the UK as well. She forgot to press the record button, so she didn't automate it. So I made her run it again for the people that didn't show up, and she ran it again, and she generated another £9,500 a few days later. So she generated basically £26,500 in 30 days by running webinars, okay, for their database. I've got a ton of other experts. I've got barristers. I've got pharmaceutical. Dermatology veterinarian. One of my clients is a dermatology vet. He's from thewebinarvet.com. thewebinarvet.com, and basically we helped him, Anthony, his name is, set up webinars. He now has a membership site. That's a membership site that has over 400 vets paying £47 to £97 per month to get access to his vet knowledge and his interviewing of other vets. Okay, pharmaceutical companies in the vet niche pay him money to run webinars for them. He's become a worldwide authority thanks to this powerful system, which I showed him, and I'm going to show you as well. He actually did $300,000 in sales in his first year with the membership site. And he sold his vet practice, okay, and that was in the first 12 months of business. This year, he's on track to do $1 million in revenue from that membership site. So you can do this even without, your product, okay. As the manager of the hotel coming to make sure it's okay, it's like terrible internet. So guys, let me reveal strategy number one. Strategy number one is how to generate higher conversion rates thanks to webinars, okay? And the simple formula is that you want to deliver great value, and then you want to make an irresistible offer, Okay, never try and sell something at the start of a webinar. And I see a lot of experts, teaching people, hey, when you get on there, you get into the middle section and you start pitching your product and whatever. I say deliver great value, deliver great information all the way, and then people who are interested will naturally, you don't have to sell. They will naturally just want to know more, and they'll want to go further, faster, and they'll purchase whatever package that you've got. Okay, if it takes them further, faster. So it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be a great salesman or a saleswoman to make money with a webinar, because people are smart enough to make up their own mind as to whether they need it, whether they want it or not. People, when I say people, I mean us consumers. I'm a consumer. I buy stuff on webinars all the time, and I buy stuff online all the time, and I don't like being pitched to or sold to, but I love buying stuff, okay? Because when I buy stuff, normally that stuff helps me make more money. It helps me get more educated. If I read a book or something, whatever I'm buying, or a little gadget that makes life easier, or in a lot of cases more complicated. But you don't have to be a great salesperson to make money on webinars, because it's a no-brainer for people who want to go further. And the statistics are that 1 in 10 will want to go further with you. So let's say, for example, you and I create a $1,000 product, and that's very easy to do. I do that, in just a few hours working with someone. I take their knowledge and I basically turn it into a presentation online with PowerPoint slides, and I turn it into anything from a $300 to a $1,000 to a $2,000 product. Let's say you've got a $1,000 product, for argument's sake, which a lot of the packages that I help students create, we start out at about $1,000. You got a $1,000 product. If you've got 10 people that come to your webinar, that's one sale. Okay, and if your webinar takes you 1 hour to run, that's and $1,000 for 1 hour's work. Okay, now imagine you get 100 people to your webinar. That's 10 sales at $1,000. Okay, when I first taught this to a promoter in the UK, he actually got 800 people registered for his webinar. He offered a $1,000 product, and 200 people bought it at $1,000 in 90 minutes. That's $200,000 in sales. And you know what? It wasn't even his product. It was someone else presenting to his database, and they did a 50-50 split. So he made 100 grand from presenting another expert with some software to his database. Can you believe it? 200 grand in 90 minutes. Okay, it's absolutely amazing the leverage that you can have. Because of the conversion rate, you don't need all the traffic that the big gurus say you need when when you've got a website. I've got an example here that I would love to show you of how we created a webinar and how webinars do produce high conversions, because when we create a webinar, we automate the webinar when it's converting, and we start to send Facebook ads, we start to send traffic, we put it on social media, we start doing joint ventures, because we know this has become a predictable sales funnel. Okay, when you have a webinar that's converting 1 in 10, you now have a predictable sales funnel, so you can start promoting and spending money getting traffic there, because you've got something that's converting. I never ever start a website, start an internet business with a web page. I always start an internet business with a webinar. Okay, and I never build a website until we've made some sales from a webinar. And I know it sounds bizarre to say that, but I never build a internet business with a website first. Websites have proven time and time again that they don't make money on their own. All right, for me and my clients, and when I do this at audiences, 200, 300 people put their hand up. Who's never made money from a website? It's like, people put 2 hands up. So what we do is we build a webinar first, we convert it to 1 in 10, we automate it, we create the product, and then we put the product inside a website, and then we can start creating, authority websites and blogs and things like that. A lot of people teach you a whole nother way, which to me is very slow and painful. Never worked for me, and that's why I don't teach it. I teach the whole other strategy. So strategy number 2. If you haven't noticed, in recent months, and even in the last 12 months, a lot of the big gurus in internet marketing have been really pushing the expert model. Okay, what's the expert model? The expert model is where you make yourself an expert. Now, there's many experts out there teaching this. I think Brendan Burchard from Millionaires Academy or Experts Academy in the USA, he teaches this strategy. I think Daniel Priestley from Melbourne. He wrote a book called The Key Person, Become a Key Person of Influence. Great book. He teaches this strategy. Daniel Wagner in the UK, who I speak for at his events, he just had me speaking to his Experts Success Summit. About 150 people. They run a tremendous expert model. And there's many other experts out there teaching people how to become experts and really turning that into a great business. And I love that model. It's a good model, but the expert has to work their butt off. Okay, and the expert has to actually do all the work, and the expert actually, the whole business rests on their shoulders, right? And the two problems with that model is, number one, time for the expert. The expert has to do everything, or at least delegate and manage the different things that they need to do to make the business run. And I'll go through some stats and some figures here of what I've come up with there. But the big problem with it is a lot of people just don't feel like they're an expert. So they don't feel confident enough to say, I'm an expert, and they go out there and put themselves in I'm an expert and on stage and doing webinars and stuff and on a website. They just don't feel like they're an expert. And you can't convince them to. Right? They say things like, I've only ever bought 3 properties. I can't be a property investing expert. I only have 3 properties. It's like, how can I be an expert? Robert Allen, he's got 500 properties. Or they say things like, if they're if they know a little bit about, renovations or something like that. Oh, I've only renovated 3 houses and made 50,000 on each one. I'm not an expert at that. Does that sound familiar to anyone on the call? Have you ever undervalued what you know? Well, a lot of people do, and that's not going to work. You can't make someone believe that they're an expert if they're not. Okay, but I've developed a system for people who don't want to be the expert. Okay, they can basically work behind the scenes in what I call the medical center model, my medical center model, right? So, in my business, doing webinars, I'm the expert. Okay, so I make great money doing that, and my business is fantastic. I speak all over the world. I've been featured in many books. Some people call me the world's #1 expert at webinars, though I can't get the internet working. And it's like, it's awesome, the expert model. But the problem is that I have to work, okay, in my business up to 16 hours a day. Because when customers buy from you as the expert, when you're the expert, who do they want to work with after they've bought the product? Who do they want? Do they want to work with Joe Blow that works in your office? No, they want to work with you. So it's like when they don't get to work with you, they're unhappy. And it's just not enough leverage. There's not enough time in the day, right, for you to work with everybody who buys your product, right, if you want to scale it right up, okay? I have a 50 grand program now. Basically, that's how I only work with 12 people a year now. So I have a 50 grand program. If people want to work with me, there's only 12 spots, right? The other businesses all run with other experts that run them. But if you're going to run a business yourself and run this expert model that all the gurus are talking about, be prepared to work and to work very hard, because you have to sell, you have to deliver the product and the support, unless you've got a team. In that case, like, fantastic, good on you. You've got to manage the team or put a manager in place to do that. Then you've got to basically do the product creation. You've got to create the products, write the books, do all of that. You've got to get the customers results. Okay, so if someone's bought your product, you've got to get them the results. You've got to help them to get the results. You've got to invest your time. Now, on top of that, you've got to do your internet marketing. You've got to do Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn. You've got to do webinars. You've got to automate them. You've got to, you've got to deliver the product online. You've got to get the website going. You've got to do videos. You've got so many things in internet marketing to do. And then you have to make sure that the billing person's doing their job, that, your decline cards are coming through, anyone, refunds and all that. You've got to handle that. And, if you don't want to do it all yourself, for the first year that I started my internet business, I made 150 grand. And I was like this at the end of every day in the office chair. I was like, they told me when I signed up, this is an automated business. Like, I'm working harder than I did in my real estate investing days, right? Running a property club with my old boss. And I was like, am I an idiot or something? Am I doing something wrong here? It's like, what's wrong with this picture? I'm working harder than ever. But I was running my own business, so it didn't bother me. Like, I was just wondering, is there an easier way? You know what I mean? To make 150 grand. And then also, as an expert, You've got to hire the staff, the outsourcing team, manage them, and you've got to put up all the money yourself. You've got to put in the time yourself. You've got to put in the intellectual property, create the intellectual property, and much, much more. Okay, so it's a lot of work. Okay, income potential is quite decent. 100, 150 grand. Okay, if you're good. If you're great, then you could make more. You could, if you've got a good team and you're good at managing staff and that, you could make a lot more than that. Okay, I give it to you. That's great, excellent. But that's about the, someone who's dialed in, about 150 grand. And the maximum businesses you can run that way is just one, because it's revolving around you. Now, to me, that's not a safe, secure business model, because what happens if something happens to you as the expert? Okay. Eventually, the business will die. Even if you've got some products on autopilot, you've got a book online and whatever, things need to be renewed. When you're in a business, you need to renew things. You need to keep things fresh. You need to stay up to date. Like today, Facebook looks like this. Tomorrow, it's changed. I've got to update my book. If I wrote a book about this topic and it's new information's come out, I've got to, rewrite it. And if anything happens to me and I need to step away from the business, I just can't do it because I'm the expert. Right? And that's what I don't like about that business model. It's kind of like, I love property investing, so it's kind of like me trying to retire with 1 or 2 properties. You just can't do it. You need lots of properties, to generate the decent income from. So you just can't do it with one business. Plus, if the wind blows and something happens to you, you're gone. The income's gone straight away. So what I created was a thing called the medical center model. Okay, now I didn't actually come up with the metaphor. I heard the metaphor being used on a recording somewhere, and I can't even remember the guy's name, honestly, because otherwise I would tell you it was a brilliant recording, and I think a guy wrote a book about it. When I actually heard it, I realized that I was doing it, all right? And I want to encourage you that if you want multiple streams of income, if you'd like to know how to make multiple businesses making $10,000 to $50,000 a month, this is the business model that will do it for you, and it will do it really fast, okay? What I'm going to encourage you to do is go and find people who are already experts and set this up for them. Okay, and here it is. It's called the medical center, right? Now, a medical center is not necessarily always owned by a doctor. A medical center is basically a place where sick people can go and visit a doctor. There's normally like a whole bunch of different doctors that work there. Maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 doctors can work in a medical center, right? Or they're specialists in different areas and different fields. And basically, they rent the space from the person who owns the medical center. And the medical center owner doesn't necessarily work there. They hire a receptionist, they provide the facilities, they provide the office space, they clean the rooms, they basically provide a good location, parking and all that stuff that they provide, clean toilets and whatever for patients to come in and do that. And depending on the business model, they can charge the doctor's rent, or they can take a percentage of the revenue that they generate, okay? And what's great about that is what happens to it if you're a doctor or a specialist in a specific area or an expert of any kind and you stop working, what happens to your income? The income literally stops straight away, right? Stops straight away. And then you're stuck because you're relying on that income. I'm sure you know someone who's been in that situation. You've heard stories. But what if the medical center has a doctor leave? What do? They just go and grab another doctor. Yeah, they just go and grab another doctor, put him in there, and he starts paying them rent, right? So the medical center has the platform for the expert to do their work, right? And that's what's beautiful about this, because if you do it this way, and I'm using this as a metaphor, I'm not telling you to go and buy a medical center. Please don't send me examples or offers that you've put in on medical centers. I'm not telling you to do that. You can run this from home. I run my medical center from home, from anywhere in the world, right? But here's all you need to do, and here's all I do. I have currently 4 other experts, right? I'm an expert in one of my businesses, so I won't count that one. But all I do for my experts is I set up webinars for them, and you can set up a webinar in 5 minutes. After this webinar, if you go to a system called gotowebinar.com and you register a 30-day free trial there, you can set up a webinar in 5 minutes, okay? And then you get an expert to come on there and talk. It takes 5 minutes, no joke. You can even do it on Google Hangouts like Mike has done here, right? Google Hangouts, it's free, okay? Then what I do after I set up a webinar is I turn up to the webinar and I press record and let the expert talk. Okay? So I don't talk on the webinar necessarily, right? I can if I want to, but I don't. But when the expert talks, I record it, and now I have a recording of the presentation. It could be a sales pitch presentation, or it could be an actual product delivery. With the medical center, all I do is I send out emails for the expert, and I've got an iPhone, and I talk to the expert and I press record, and the expert tells me what they want to say to the database. I get it typed up, and then I send the email. It takes a few minutes to send an email. Anyone can send an email here, right? I check the sales and make sure the sales came through and how many sales we got. And then I basically take out all of the expenses, and then we split 50-50. So any expense comes out of the partnership, and that is a proprietary limited company that I set up with the expert. Now, I don't rush out there, find an expert, and set up a company. I find an expert, I tell them what I want to do, I tell them how I can help them set up webinars and this and this and this, and then we do it. We run a little test because I want to see how they work, they want to see how I work. We split 50-50 on that, and if they're happy and I'm happy, we proceed and start a company, right? And then I own a 50% stake in the company. All right, and so many experts are falling over themselves to have this done for them because they just don't have the time and the energy to do it, and they know there's a better way. Now, the income potential for an expert is about 150 grand. I told you that already. The income potential for this model, when you're working with just one expert, pushes their income to 500 grand or more if you want to. Okay, and it's just by creating the funnel that I do. I find an expert, and then I help them create the first product. Then I help them create a $5,000 or a $10,000 program. And then I help them create a $20,000 program. Then I help them, run workshops live and do seminars and do all the things that experts like to do. Speaking on stage, speaking on TV, helping them arrange all that from behind the scenes. I'm not even in the public eye. So, because of this medical center model, this system, when I heard it, it actually gave me a metaphor, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to teach this to people because this is a surefire way to make money, even if you don't want to be the expert. If you want to be the expert, great. Become the expert, then help other experts, and you're going to make more money anyway. But if you're struggling to become an expert, or go and find people you know who are experts, set this up and take 50% of the lifetime of the business. My only regret when I started was all the people I've helped make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars that I was like not getting a cut from those sales for helping them create their webinar businesses. That's the only regret I have. But 18 months ago, that all changed, okay? And I have some proof here for you. Unfortunately, you can't see the screen. If I could flip it around, I could show you. But basically, the answer that you're looking for is this. Go and find experts and set this up for them, okay? Go and find experts and set this up for them. Do it for free at first, okay? Do it for free. Help them create a webinar presentation. Help them, okay? Just if they don't know how to use a computer, just record their voice presenting, and then you create some PowerPoint slides. Help them sell their product or service. And if they don't have a product or service, help them sell their time. Okay? Experts have time, and normally they're selling their time. So help them sell their time. Show them how they can sell their time for more. Show them how they can do group sessions and leverage themselves. Okay? And if they don't want to do any of those, show them how they can do a done for you. Can they do a done for you service? One of my businesses is called United Property International. We just started it a few months ago, and my client, he was my client. He paid me money to train him, and then he became a business partner. Basically, what we did was he was specializing in a particular property strategy. We sold on the first webinar 8 packages at $1,000, so he made $8,000. And then I told him, now you need to create the program and start teaching people like the strategy, right, for the people who've signed up. Now, did we have a product ready to go after they purchased it? No, we didn't. We just ran more webinars. We ran a series of webinars. So we didn't even have a product. We made $1,000 and we didn't have a product. He then delivered the webinar live every week on a webinar, and he sent them the replay for those that couldn't come. And he picked up the phone and he did a few one-on-one sessions with them. And he said to me, Steve, no one is following through with the program except one guy. One guy went out and bought like I don't know, 20 properties or something in a short amount of time using this strategy. It was a really, really cheap buy cheap property strategy, went out and bought 20 properties. The other 7 people did nothing. And I said, you know what to do, Anthony? I said, ring them up and say to them, I want to help you to purchase your first property. So what can we do to help you purchase your first property? How are you going with the course? How come you're not doing the course? Anyway, so he rang them up and spoke to them and found out that they were too busy and they wanted to do it, but they were too busy. They spent $1,000, so they're pretty committed, right? If you spend $1,000, you want something. So basically, we created a $10,000 done-for-you program where we would actually go out, source the property, help them create the company to buy it in and do all of the stuff that was needed to do to get the property done. And we did that. And he called up eight of the customers. Out of the 8 customers, 1 person said, yes, I'll pay you 10 grand. You just do it for me. Okay? And there you go. It was like a high-end done for you just by being willing to work with the customer. First, he sold a $1,000 product. The customers are too busy. We created a done for you at a high end for 10 grand. Okay? And let me say to you right now that there isn't a better customer than someone who pays a lot of money to work with you. Okay, I've worked with $47 customers before, and they want the whole world for $47. Okay, it's like, and when you get 500 customers in 24 hours buying from your website, you're going to have some logistic issues if a link is out of place or if someone can't find the button that says download, because there's people out there that for whatever reason they can't find a button that says download and it's the only thing on the page. I don't know what it is. It's happened to me sometimes. So dealing with $47 customers is like very, very hard and very time consuming and puts a strain on your resources. Whereas when you have a customer who's paid you 10 grand, it's one customer. How many of those do you need in a year to actually have a great business model and a great lifestyle? If I could get you a $10,000 customer, how many $10,000 customers would you need to operate your business? Would it be 1 a month? Would 1 a month be all right for you? Would 2 a month be okay? Okay, this is what I do in my business. When I help my business partner make money on a webinar, we then create a high-end package, a $10,000 or a $25,000 package. Okay, and that's a very, very fast way to soup up the income, okay, and work with high-end clients. So really, really good strategy. So why I'm telling you this is I want you to go and do this stuff, okay? I don't have enough time to work with every expert in the world. When we say who's an expert at our seminars, more than half the audience stands up. So people, we go, where do you find experts? People say, Steve, where do I find these experts? And I say to the audience, hey, put your hands up if you're an expert. And then everyone puts their hands up who's an expert, and I go, there they are. Go and get them. You know what I mean? Because the expert doesn't want to learn internet marketing. The expert doesn't want to do Twitter and Facebook. The expert doesn't want to automate a webinar. The expert just wants to talk to their customers and help their customers. The expert loves doing what they love doing. They like healing people. They like helping people get fit if they're fitness experts. If they're make money experts, they like that. That's what they're into. You with me? So here I'm looking at a slide that says a $60,000 webinar. Okay, and what I might do here, I might get a bit creative and I'll just show you the statistics on this webinar we ran just a couple of months back in August. I'll just bring up the slides, and you won't be able to see them, but I'll take a photo of them and I'll try and show you, because this is the sort of thing that you can actually do with webinars. Okay, I'll take a screenshot of that, and sorry about the flash if it went off in your face. Is that coming through, Mike? Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, great. So here's a webinar I ran with one of my business partners, okay? It was Tuesday the 13th of August 2013. It was a live webinar we set up with GoToWebinar. We had 54 people registered for the webinar. Now, out of the people who register for your webinar, not everyone's going to show up, okay? Not everyone's going to show up. Normally you get 30% of people showing up. In this case, we had a 62% attendance rate because the attendees had already previously worked with him and purchased the $5,000 program. This was an advanced program that we were selling, and he sold 11 on the webinar at $4,997. That's a 32% conversion rate for a $4,997 product. It was a total of $54,967. And the best news was, guys, that I wasn't even on the webinar. And how good's that? Okay, and basically this was the advanced program that they purchased from him. Now there's another slide that comes up that says we sent the replay out for that webinar, and that webinar generated on autopilot has generated for us another 2 or 3 sales. Okay, in the months that follow. I just spoke to him today. We made another sale at $5,000 from that webinar as well. This business that I created with him, it's in the second year of running this business. The first year we did $184,000 just testing out the funnels and getting everything right. And this year so far, we have done $467,000 in sales in the second year of a business. Now, that's phenomenal growth in any business. And I just had a meeting with him a couple of hours ago. His name's Sean Allison. Before this webinar, we just discussed our sales targets for next year. In case you don't believe me, there's his name right there. We just had a call a little bit ago at 5:30. We discussed the sales targets and totals for next year, and where we want to double the business again. So we're going to go from $500,000 to $1 million, and we're hiring our first staff member. Is that amazing, guys? He is an expert, and all he does is he does coaching for clients, and he does the speaking and the selling. I do everything else behind the scenes. I manage the membership site, I manage the webinars, the automated and all that. And guess what? I use my team to actually do that as well. I have a web designer, I pay him $1,000 a month, and he manages all 5 businesses. So whenever I need something, I just send it to him anyway, all right? Because an expert doesn't want to deal with this stuff. They're too busy, right? And me, behind the scenes, I can just do it. It's easier sending an email, all right? So that's the business model. That's how you do it on a webinar. This webinar is a good example of that. What I started doing with this expert, and what I recommend you do with your experts as well, if you've got an expert that sells really well on a webinar, you take that webinar presentation and you put them on stage, and you put 10, 20 people in a seminar, which is very cheap to run. Okay, you can get a little seminar room for $300, $500, and you make your expert do the same presentation they did on the webinar, but now they're standing in front of people. Okay, and you can charge 10 times the price by selling it that way. Okay, and here's a screenshot I'll take right now of the month of September when I did this with this particular expert. Okay, I'll just show you what we did there. Have a look at that sales figure for the month of September, guys. Okay, $150,254 by putting him on stage and speaking in front of 20 people at a time in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast. Have a look at those figures there, okay? That is in the month of September, okay? Is that amazing? That's the power of letting experts do what they do best, and you do what you do best behind the scenes as the medical center, okay? Automating and creating processes for them. So 150 grand in the month of September. This business, like I said, so far has done $467,000 in sales. We'll sell way over $500,000, which was the target for that particular business. So again, why am I telling you this? Okay, it's because it's much easier for you to create a medical center around an expert, for them to do what they do best and for you to do what you do best, which is learning a system. I can teach you how to actually set up a webinar. It's very, very easy to do. Okay, very easy to do. All right, it's not hard at all. Just some PowerPoint slides. They don't even have to see your face. This is the first webinar I've done in all my time that I actually showed my face, okay? And hopefully you can see why I've never showed it in the past, right? Because I got a head for webinars, like Doug Mulray used to say on radio. I got a head for radio. So I'm telling you this so you can basically learn how to set up a webinar, how to send an email, how to automate the webinar, and then how to get the expert to speak and present and sell on the actual webinar. That's all you need to basically do, is get that facility for them. Okay, so we're looking for someone who's got knowledge, and guys, I find people. You know how many emails I get from people that say, "Hey, I've got knowledge. Can you launch my business? Can you help me?" It's like I cannot physically do all of the experts that are coming across the table. And a super tip here I want to give you guys, if you like the medical center model, what I recommend you do is actually try and build your medical center model within a similar target audience, okay? A similar target audience is the best way to actually do that. And that way you can cross-pollinize databases, okay? A bit of an advanced terminology, but you can basically use your database that you've built for yourself as an expert or one of your other experts. You can use that to promote the other experts, and that creates another great traffic source. Automatically, you can make money with that. Let me just show you an example of my templates that I normally would fill in. Now, out of the 3 or 4 webinars that Mike just mentioned, the experts, all of those would be great webinars. Okay, so let me show you what I would do. And Mike, tell me if this works or if it looks stupid, because I won't continue doing it. But can you see that? Okay.
No, I can't see it at all, mate.
Oh, you can't see that. What about now?
No.
Nah, that doesn't work.
No. There's too much reflection off your screen.
Yeah. Too much. Dude, it's an Apple. It's a shiny screen. Okay, so basically what I do is I have some blank templates. Okay, they've like fill in the blanks. There's got words, and then you fill in the blank with whatever your target audience is. Okay, so you can basically easily fill it in a few minutes. Okay, and this is the templates that I use whenever I go and pick someone out of the audience. I actually work with them for a few hours. I have them present the webinar to me backwards and forwards a few times, and then we put them on stage and they make money. Okay, it was like 8 out of 10 guys actually made money. So basically, it's something like this: discover how you can, in the case of one of the experts that just said they can teach you how to teach your kid how to read before even going to school at the age of 4. So the headline would be: discover how your child can read at the age of 4 before going to school. In turn, shine in school and learn faster and be a better student, brighter student, all in 5 easy steps. Okay, so that expert puts together a webinar. She says this webinar is for you if you're a parent who would like your child to have the edge and the advantage, if you would like to have your child be able to read and comprehend things sooner, if you would like your child to be blah, 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 blah. She tells some stories. She then goes into some testimonials that she's got. Hey, this is my friend's parent. There was an ethnic child that came overseas. Is ethnic child politically correct? Because I was an ethnic child, and I went to ESL. And if this course was available, I think I would still take it because I don't read very good. But what led her to doing this webinar was blah blah blah. She tells a story if she's been featured in the paper, any testimonials, and then she gets into the steps. She shows statistics. 9 out of 10 kids, can't read, even in 2nd or 3rd class. So what I'm doing now, guys, is I would go through with any of you experts out there. I would basically sit down with you and just fill in the blanks. Okay. Then what I would do is I would just have you read the slides back to me and put a little bit of your own content, your own story, and your own flavor in there. Okay. And I would just help you massage that. Okay. I just take notes. And I'll just say, okay, say this there, change this a little bit, talk longer, and then what we would do is we can actually go ahead and record that, okay? And I'll talk when Mike comes in, I'll talk about automating the webinar so you don't actually have to do it over and over again. It's a very easy process. Okay, so we basically now have some PowerPoint slides. Okay, you can go and use GoToWebinar to set up a live webinar with your expert and run it live to an audience. It doesn't matter if no one comes, you can still record it. Excuse me. And then what you do is you automate it, okay? And I've created some software called Webinator, okay? Webinator.biz. It's Webinator.biz. And what this software does is it actually takes a recording of a webinar and it will allow you to schedule the webinar at a certain time on a certain day, okay, in a certain time zone, and that will count down and play at that time, and it gives the feel of a live webinar. Okay. The other feature inside there is what's called the on-demand webinar, which allows you to your attendee to just watch the webinar whenever they want to, kind of like on-demand TV, TiVo, and all of those Foxtels where you can watch what you want when you want. That's a great feature, and that's the main one I use. People who register for a webinar, they want to watch it now. They don't want to wait till later. So we have that feature in the software as well. And we just upload the video to the cloud. Okay, we use Amazon system. It's a free system. We upload it to Amazon. We put it inside the Webinator, and now we have webinars playing all over the world. I have over 300 automated webinars in my particular software, and I've sold. I think I've sold probably 500 units of my software around the world. We launched it a couple of years ago, and we're constantly updating that software. It's amazing software, and it automates your webinar, so you don't have to be there. And that's the process I go through. So I find an expert. Step one, find an expert. If that's you, great. If that's not you, find an expert. Step two, create a PowerPoint presentation for them. Step three, set up a webinar on GoToWebinar or Google Hangouts, or pre-record the webinar. You don't even need to do it live. You can pre-record it for them so they can not be nervous and they can just present it. And then automate the webinar, step number 4. Okay, and then step number 5, start to, basically partner with different experts and do the same thing over and over. Okay, and they're the 5 secrets that I use over and over again, and then get your experts speaking live and just help more experts. Now, people say to me, Steve, what happens if one of your experts picks up and leaves? It's going to be very hard for them to leave. Number one, because I'm managing all the content at the back end. I'm managing the databases. I'm managing the technical stuff. It's not even really that technical, but most experts, they don't even want to know about it. And if an expert really wants to leave, then what can I do about it? I'm going to let them leave. It's like if someone doesn't want to be in business with you or be your partner anymore, what can you do? Okay, besides tie them up, okay, but they're not going to work. So I'm not worried about if one of my business partners decides to leave. All businesses end in the end, don't they? All partnerships end. All businesses have a start date, end date. Everything has a start date and an end date, and I just focus on doing the best for the customers, doing the best for the expert, doing the best for myself, and making the business profitable, making the business work, and everything else sort of looks after itself. If the experts doesn't want to work with you anymore, then you go and find another expert. There's millions of experts out there. Okay, so that's a big concern for people, but you don't have to be concerned because there's hundreds of experts. And when you leave this webinar, you've got a lot of great information from me, right? But if you haven't done webinars before for selling, then it can actually be a bit overwhelming, right? If you've never done this before, if you're an expert or you're trying to find experts, it's a bit overwhelming, right? But that's the best business model right there, because experts out there are itching to get somebody to do this for them. And when I teach you how to do it, you're going to be able to do this not just in one business. You're going to have 4 or 5, even up to 10 experts in different businesses making you multiple streams of income. And what's the income potential? 10 to 50 grand a month easily with this particular model. When you're selling products and services on webinars, you're selling them higher price point product stuff and automating them. Okay, so what's the guaranteed formula that you can start making money thanks to this particular system? And basically, I've put together a program. Unfortunately, you can't see my slides, but you'll be able to see them in a minute. I'll basically show you where you can go to get this information. But for those of you that want to take this to another level and work with me further, I've created a program called Webinar Magic. And Webinar Magic is a program that converts your webinars into sales. Now, you can use this for yourself or for your experts. And here's what you get in the Webinar Magic program. You get 8 easy-to-follow step-by-step modules taking you from here, not knowing anything at all about making money with webinars, to over here where you've got a fully automated webinar that's making money, that's got a product for sale, that's automated, that's making money for every 1 in 10 visitors that's coming to your website. And I've got proven templates. Okay, the templates that I've got, you get those, and you just have your expert or yourself fill in the blanks, and then you just need to read them on a webinar. So you can literally, I've had experts that just read slide for slide exactly what's in the actual webinar, and you can actually learn in this system how to create the webinars for yourself or how to do it for an expert in a medical center. So if you're an expert yourself, great. If you want to build a medical center, this is the platform that you need. All your experts will go into here, they'll present a webinar, and you're guaranteed to make sales from the webinar when it's set up with these templates. And the benefit is you're going to save years of trial and error on webinars. I've done thousands of webinars, I've hosted thousands of webinars, we've trained, and I've sat down and taken notes on hours and hours of students' webinars, and I've created the ultimate system and the ultimate template for making webinars that produce income. Okay, and I do it. This is how I do it. I do it live on stage in front of audiences all over the place. So Webinar Magic is the fastest system to help you make money immediately on your next webinar. That's the Webinar Magic program. 8 easy-to-follow modules. They go for about half an hour each. They're very simple, and you just fill in the blanks at the end of each webinar. By the 4th module, you've got a webinar ready to go. Okay, that's how fast the program works for you. Okay, and I've got templates on the screen. Unfortunately, you can't see them, but there's templates, examples of the template. The Webinar Magic program sells every day on my website for $2,997. That's the value of that program. Does the system really work? Well, I told you earlier, in Melbourne last year, I pulled a guy out of the audience. He made $21,425 in 90 minutes. Okay, I've got a screenshot and a video testimonial of him on YouTube. Lucy Johnson, a fitness expert, made £17,000 in 21 days using my Webinar Magic system. She went on to make another £9,500 9 days later. Okay, I've had people that actually go take my knowledge, take my system, and then apply it to another expert and make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. In fact, one of my students actually launched Cherie Barber, the property renovation queen of Australia. We actually got on a phone call with her and set up and helped her run her first ever webinar. She made about $40,000 to $50,000, and he made 10% just for setting up the webinar. So, you know, I help students. The templates can do that for you as well. I've got students in the UK who have made $105,000 on the screen right now. You can't see them, unfortunately. Airline pilot, £450,000. My first test case was Sean Allison from Perth. He made $184,000 last year, $467,000 this year. As part of this package, I'm going to give you also 5 pre-made webinars. So you can start making money today. I'm going to give you 5 different webinars that are set up and ready to go, and they're automated. And they have little web pages that can capture names and email addresses, so people can register for the webinar through your affiliate link, so you can actually make 50% of the sales. And I've got 5 of those I'm going to give you today. If you get on board, I'm going to give you those. They're valued at $2,997. I've also got some software that I'm going to give you lifetime access to. The software is called the Webinator, and inside the Webinator, you'll be able to track and manage all of your pre-recorded webinars for yourself and for your expert. Now, if you say to me, Steve, I need 5 accounts because I've got 5 different experts and I want to manage them all separately, we will set up 5 different Webinator accounts for you so you can manage them. If you just want one, then we'll give you 1 account. We'll give you lifetime access, and we're updating this webinar software all the time. And this software means you never have to pay for using a system like GoToWebinar, which is $100 a month. You don't need that. You can pre-record all your webinars with your experts, upload them. That means you don't have to be there. That means you can be anywhere in the world and your webinars are playing for you. Okay, like I've got webinars right now, guys, that make me money, and I'm asleep. Someone in Switzerland is watching my webinar, and I'm making money from that. Someone in America is watching my webinar. I wake up in the morning, I check, and there's sales coming in from our various webinars. And we've got webinars that make $297 a month recurring for like a social media management product we have. I've got $5,000 options ones. I've got a $1,000 US property webinar. I've got my own webinars going, and I've got other businesses as well and joint venture partners. I'm also going to give you all the training you need. Because we have a system called Internet Coaching School, and there we show you how to record the webinar, how to cut it up, how to upload it, where to upload it, and also everything else you need to know about promoting webinars and doing everything around webinars. And you get lifetime access to that. There's no hidden costs, there's no fees, there's no extra charges. It's lifetime access to the Webinator software and also to the Internet Coaching School membership. It's lifetime access, no hidden fees. You get access to everything in the entire platform, and that's going to help you accelerate your success. Anything you need to know, it's already been asked before. Someone's already asked me before. I've already answered it before. There, you're going to find all the answers to your questions. And if you have a question that's not there, then you can email us without charge for a full 12 months. We give you all the support that you need for 12 months, email support, okay? Also, we have another system which shows you how to collect money, recurring income. Okay, so if you want to create a membership website and collect recurring income just like the webinar vet does, and he charges vets, he's got over 400 vets making 47 to 97 pounds a month from those, on track to do $1 million in sales this year. Pharmaceutical companies paying him £5,000 to run webinars. If you'd like to know how to do that stuff, then you're going to love the paid webinar model, and I'm going to show you inside our system how you can actually create a membership site, how to actually store the membership site, so your expert can and you can make $100, $200 a month recurring income over and over again, not just a one-time sale but a recurring income. And I've got a couple of businesses that have recurring income, and there's nothing better than seeing that $199 come in every single month from all those users, and that system is worth $2,997. Got a picture of the vet on the screen right now. My wife's business is a $10,000 a month business. We built it with 2 automated webinars. I'm going to show you how to joint venture with other people as well, how to create that structure. I'm going to show you the actual way that I systemize and create the business, the way I manage the business. I'm going to show you inside, behind the scenes, which software I use and how to use it, how to work it for yourself. And I'm going to show you how to actually strategically get joint venture partners to promote your products and services on webinars too, and that system is worth $2,997. And basically that is just an easy cookie cutter technique for you to be able to promote your webinars to other people's databases, because that's a very fast way to make money. We're going to give you 1 year priority support. As I said, you can email me without charge for a whole year, and we'll answer any question you've got. And we also do a live weekly webinar. How funny is this? We do a live weekly webinar where you can come along for an hour and listen to us teach the latest strategies and about webinars, promoting webinars, how to get traffic to webinars, how to automate your webinars, anything to do with webinars and internet business, we talk about it there. And here's the best part. You can present your webinar to our customers and they can critique it for you. Okay, and basically what we can do there is we can email the list and we say, hey, come along to this webinar, watch this webinar, one of our fellow students is going to be presenting, and you can present to our list your webinar, and then we give you critique. Now, we did this a few weeks ago, and I had one of my students is a feng shui expert, and she made 4 sales at $297 with only 30 people on the call. Okay, these are intimate groups, coaching sessions, and you can basically present there when you're ready. Just send us the slides. Make sure you follow our system and we'll let you present. So weekly coaching calls for you to learn, and email support for a whole year, because a program without support is going to be pretty hard to manage when you I'm sure you've bought programs before where you've stumbled and there's no one there. Okay, you're going to have us weekly on a call that you can ask me and my head trainer Ray any questions that you've got. We can address them there for you. That's valued at $5,000 for a whole year support with us. So here's what you're getting: the Webinar Magic program, the 5 ready-made webinars, the paid webinars and subscription, and the total value, the 1 year email support, and the joint ventures, how to joint venture, total value $16,988. If you invest in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to make a special offer for you. Bonus number 1, I've got a 2-day workshop that I videoed in the Gold Coast. I'm going to give that to you for free when you join today. And the reason is I go through everything in 2 days, and I run a live webinar at that workshop that generated around $28,000 in sales. I show you there how to collect money. What do you do if you're going to make $10,000 or $20,000 just like that? You're going to get a phone call from your bank. I tell you what to say to the bank, what to do, how to handle it, how to actually get the payment processing done, and make sure it all works like clockwork. So you make sure you get your money and your expert gets their money. And I cover everything in that 2-day. You're going to get those videos online, and you can watch those without charge. I'm also going to show you how to become an authority in your market, help you create a podcast. Okay, podcasting is becoming huge. We're going to show you how to create that. Is there other ways that you can actually achieve this end result? Yes, there are, absolutely. You could spend more time wasting money with websites. You could spend years in trial and error doing what I've already done, and so I've done the trial and error for you. Or you could go and try and sell 1,000 ebooks per month for $27 or $47 a month, and still not get there, right? The fact is there's no comparison with this system. okay? Just imagine for a moment that you're making up to $44,000 a month in multiple businesses, not just one business, multiple businesses, and you can travel where you want. Where would you travel to? Where would you work? Where would you live? Where would you play? Wherever and whenever you want to, and imagine how many people you could help if you've got that sort of income coming in, okay? That's basically what I'm offering you here, is the ability to have the freedom and flexibility and live where you want and work whenever you want to. It's like, look at this, I've just flown into Sydney today. I'm sitting in a Novotel hotel, all right? I'm doing my one-day workshop tomorrow, and I've just got my little business, my headset, and that's my entire my laptop and my headset. It's all I've got, an internet connection, a substandard internet connection for that matter. Now, if I could make this entire program extremely affordable to own, who would be interested in getting involved? Just type in yes into the box there. Mike's monitoring that. He'll see that. Just type in yes if you'd be interested. If I could make this entire system extremely affordable to own, who would be interested in getting involved? Truly, if you could own everything I'm talking about here, raise your hand if you'd feel like taking some action. Just click on the little hand there if they've got one on Google Hangouts. Just raise your hand there. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get the Webinar Magic program, the pre-made webinars, the joint venture formula, the 12-month support, and the live webinars, and you're going to get how to run a webinar in the 2-day workshop that I did. But here's the thing, guys. I only want to work with people who must succeed. Those of you that failure is not an option. I only want to work with people who are serious about this. So if you want to make $44,000 a month, learn how to do that in multiple markets, I'm talking to you right now. I'm not talking to anyone else who's on the fence or not sure and, uncertainty, all that. I want to work with people who know I've got to make this happen. Just like the lady we were talking to earlier, I've got to make this happen. They're the kind of people who've got the passion, the ideas, and they want to make it happen, or they want to help other experts make it happen. I've got tons of testimonials, proof. You could see them on YouTube. You can see them online. Anyone who's seen me speaking has seen me do this live. Today I'm going to offer you an irresistible offer, and I'll tell you why. Because I want your success story. Okay, your success is my success, and I want to put your webinars into our software if you'll let me. Okay. Now here's the deal: we're creating this software, we're building it up, and we want to take your webinar when it's done and put it inside our software. Now we don't take any commission at all. You can offer whatever commission you want to, and people can come along later on and promote and sell your webinars inside our software. So you're going to get targeted traffic, you're going to get instant credibility, and you're going to be able to make more money because we're going to put your webinars when they're ready into our software. But in order to do that, you need to be trained by me first, because the 1-year Webinar Magic program, I reveal how to actually make money from webinars. Not just running webinars, we make money from webinars. So you're not going to pay $18,000, which is easily the value. I currently have clients right now paying me $50,000 to actually work with them one-on-one and go through this whole system. I could easily warrant charging $15,000 because I help people make more than that in one webinar. Even $10,000 is a steal of a deal. I'm not even going to charge you that, or $8,000 or $5,000. I'm not even going to charge you $3,997. And if you went to the website right now, you'll see it there for $2,997. Who here on this webinar has just $497? If you've just got $497, okay, you can get started today. For just $497, you can get started today, and 2 easy payments of $997. So $497 down today, and 2 easy monthly payments of $997. And if you want an even better deal, just one payment of $19.97, saving you around $500, right? And if you know you want this already, go to www.x10effect.com/KS. That's x10effect.com/KS. And maybe Mike can put that in the chat box there for you so you can see that. Normally I have it on the screen here, but unfortunately you can't see my slides, and you can go and get that right now, and you'll see everything that you're going to get in the program at www.x10effect.com/KS. It's not a product, guys. This is not a product. It's a business. Okay, this is a business system that you'll be able to create, duplicate, and leverage over and over again and make money on autopilot. Webinar Magic is the perfect partner for anything you're trying to do online. Whether you're trying to write books, you should be doing webinars and selling. Whether you're trying to create software, you should be selling it with a webinar. Whether you're interviewing experts, you should be doing it on a webinar. Whatever you're doing online, whatever business you're in, you should be doing webinars, right? If you're not, you're missing out big time, and you need to start doing them, and I'll train you how to do it. And if you want to make big money fast, then webinars is the best way to do that. So today only $497 down, $497 down, and 2 easy monthly payments of $997, or just one payment of $1997. Go to x10effect.com/KS, okay, KS. Head over there right now. Over $18,000 value. Today only $497 and 2 easy monthly payments of $997, or one payment of $1997. x10effect.com/KS. For those of you that have hung around, I want to ask you, is this worth it? Is this worth the money? It is, because just one webinar can cover the entire cost of the program. I've had students that actually logged into the site, created out of my PowerPoint template, right? Didn't even watch the modules, just took the template, filled in the blanks, 48 hours later did $3,000 in sales on a webinar, okay? So one webinar that you run with your expert or with yourself can cover the entire cost of the program in one single 60-minute webinar, okay? And that's this has happened over and over again. So this is what it can do for you, and you can get started for a measly $497. You can make money in the first 90 days and pay the final 2 payments of $997 with the money you've made from the program, okay? So go to x10effect.com/KS. Would you take it if it was 100% for free? Who would want it if it was 100% for free? Would you want it? Would you want it if it was free? Well, you're protected, because I'm going to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can try it out for 30 days, take the materials, set up a webinar, and if you're not 100% satisfied that Webinar Magic is the best way to make money with webinars, then we'll refund you in full. All I ask you do is watch the first 4 modules and fill in the homework, the PowerPoint slides, and send them to us. It'll take you 2 hours, okay? Send us the blank just to make sure you've done it, because I only want to work with people who are serious. And if you're not 100% satisfied, we'll refund you in full. Just send us those PowerPoints. Doesn't matter what they look like, just send them to us, and we'll refund you in full if you're not 100% satisfied. So you can get in for $497 and start using this amazing system today, x10effect.com/KS. The first 7 people, you're going to get this mega bonus as well. Congratulations for hanging around, because I'm doing some live workshops around Australia right now, and I will personally help you get started by training you for a full 1 day. You will have all your questions answered, and the best way to create products and services. I will demonstrate in 1 day the whole system. That's how fast it is, okay? I'll demonstrate the entire system, the entire platform in front of your eyes, so you can actually go home and do this stuff, all right? And here's what I'm doing. I'm doing a webinar, a seminar. It's called the Webinar Seminar for my private Webinar Magic clients tomorrow in Sydney. If you're in Sydney, you need to cancel work tomorrow, and you need to get to the Brighton Le Sands, okay, and come to my 1-day workshop for my exclusive Webinar Magic clients. Sydney is 6th of December, tomorrow. Melbourne is on the 9th of December, that's this coming Monday, and the Gold Coast on the 13th of December, okay? Now, if you can't make those dates, don't worry, because I run these seminars every couple of months. So you'll be invited to, even if you come to this one, you can come to the next one, okay? We put on a full day, morning tea, afternoon tea, lunch. You'll get a confirmation email when you register. Come to the Brighton Le Sands. If you're in Melbourne or whichever city you're in, just email back to the email you received confirmation and say, I'm coming, and tell us what dietary requirements you have, if you have any, please. Go to x10effect.com/KS. I'm on a mission, guys, to help more people make money with this business than anybody else in the world, and I want to work with you. So join right now. Once you're in the program, only $497 to get in. Let's get started, and let's get you going. Hello. The guy just scared the hell out of me there. $1,997 value. The mega bonus, number 2, you're going to buy one and get one free, okay? If you buy one of these packages today, this package, I will let you bring a business partner, your mum, your dad, your son, your daughter, whoever it is, to join the program with you for free. Okay, they get a license to Webinator, they get all the training, they can come to the one-day workshop, and they get all of everything you get, they get for free as well. So basically, you'll be able to go on the journey with someone, right? If you've got a business partner, you can share it with them, and they get everything that you get. x10effect.com/KS, that value $1,997. Do you think you can do this? Okay, today only, just one payment of $19.97 and two payments of $9.97 after you pay the original $4.97. Okay, so I know you can do this, guys. I've helped people who are not technical do this and make money live on stage. I know I can help you do it as well. The entire package is at that website, the webinar magic, the pre-made webinars, everything you need, all there, ready to go. Over 22 grand's value. Guys, when you work it out, it's only about $5 a day. Okay, so literally for the cost of a Starbucks coffee every day, which is not great coffee anyway, sorry to the Starbucks fans, but you know, it's only about $5 a day. You're going to spend the money anyway. You're going to spend the time doing it anyway. Why not just let me give you my blueprint that's taken me 5 years to build and generate amazing sales like I have? Come and let me train you. Come and work with me. Bring your partner, your spouse along. I'm in it for the long haul. I've been in this business 5 years, and if you haven't heard of me, then come along and check it out, and you'll see the proof is in the pudding for yourself, okay? And you've got 30 days, okay? You've got 30 days to try it out. There's no risk at all to you. The risk is entirely on me to deliver. Over $22,982 value, $19.97 today, one time, or $4.97 down and 2 monthly installments of $9.97. Head over to x10effect.com/KS. Go there now, x10effect.com/KS, and I look forward to working with you very soon. Mike, I'll hand over to you. If we've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
All right, well, we had quite a few people pop up yes in the chat box there, Stephen, but so far we haven't got any questions. If anyone's got a question, just pop it into the chat box now. I've been, unbeknownst to you, Stephen, I've been sharing my screen and busily typing away, trying to keep up with everything that you're saying. So they have actually had some kind of a screen share thing with the website link up there, so they know exactly where to go.
You're a good man.
In the meantime,
thanks, Mike.
No worries. My internet connection's wicked down here.
Oh yeah, rub it in, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like we haven't got any questions. We still have 36 viewers. So, guys, if you do have any questions, is there anything that needs clearing up? Is there anything that you need to know about the program? Is there anything that's still hanging around in your mind that's a question mark? Please feel free to speak up, and I will ask Stephen the question. I'll forward that on to him right now while he's on the call.
Absolutely. Mike, a lot of people, Mike, say to me, can I get it now and then can I start it later? I'm not quite ready. I'll be ready in a month's time. Absolutely. You can lock it in at today's price, because if you go to the website, guys, tomorrow, basically what you're going to see is $2,997. Okay, that's the full price. It's taking $1,000 off for being on this webinar. You know, this is the first time I'm running a webinar for Mike, for the group. I've known of you guys for a long time and been looking forward to speaking for you. So that's a special for today only. So you can lock it in at today's price. Grab it today, and then we can start you whenever you want the 12-month support. And let me just say, with the support, guys, we've had customers who purchased this 3 years ago, this program, and they're still welcome to come along and email us. We have to put a deadline on the support. We have to say 12 months because, you know, there has to be a beginning date and an end date for us. If anything happens to me or, you know, whatever, you can ring up my mum who's sick and old and say, Stephen offered me unlimited lifetime support and now he's dead, and who's going to do the support? So we do put a time limit on it because we say 12 months, but in reality, guys, we're building the biggest webinar community in the world, and our members are welcome to come. When you come to the workshop, you'll see members that have attended past a couple of years ago and come back, and they're learning something new. I'm sharing the latest strategies all the time. So even if you're making money with webinars now, I guarantee you that I'm going to show you stuff that will help you make even more money. Like I said, just one webinar that I help you set up can cover the entire cost of this program. It is a pure no-brainer. There is no better system. So jump on board today's price. Even if you can't start working with me till next year, it's a good time to jump on board now at this price, lock it in at that price, and we'll start you your 12 months from whenever you're actually ready to start. Okay, guys. If there's no questions, then thank you so much, Mike. I really had a great time. No matter what happens here today, I want you to go and start applying webinars to your marketing mix. Go and start helping experts get aligned with it. You can make 50% for doing it. And as I said, there's no better business model for generating high conversions and selling high price point products and services. So whatever happens, look forward to hearing about your success story with webinars, and I hope that I've inspired you to take some action and finally start generating massive sales and money on the internet.
Beautiful. Well, thanks so much, Stephen, for your time and your patience with dodgy connections and iffy technology. And really appreciate the effort and had some good laughs and packed with information. So I mean, people can take this information right away and like literally they can go out and start applying it tonight and writing their first webinar up.
Video is just where it's at, isn't it? I mean, don't look at the internet how we're using it now. This is why, I couldn't even share my screen because the internet at this hotel in Sydney is just so bad. I'm not looking this year what's happening with the internet. I'm looking at 2 years, 3 years time, the speed, the video that was going to be producing, the content, and he who can produce content, record it, and get it online will make the money. Okay, because this is the information age, and people are making millions, billions of dollars from information marketing, especially thanks to webinars. But you're not hearing about that stuff. And webinars are just video. So if we can teach you, Mike and I can teach you. Mike will show you how to run it on that system. I'll show you how to run it with what we do, and get video out there. Video will dominate the internet. More than 70% of the internet in the next year and 2 years and beyond is going to be video. If you don't know how to record a video and get it on there, then you're going to be missing out big time, because this is the way, this is the future, this is the way to sell, okay? But I don't recommend you selling a webinar this way, the way I've done it tonight. This is not the way to do it, okay? It's just terrible internet for some reason. It's the only way that it's worked. I'll show you the real way how to do it. So jump on board now, and we'll look forward to working with you.